All right, let's look at some market truths. We have a tweet over here that Tesla market cap is currently $176 billion. Now the big three, which is General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, combined their market cap is $96 billion. Now let's take a look at revenue over the past year. Tesla has brought in $26 billion, while the big three combined have brought in $406 billion. It's all math. It's all math. Here's a forward-looking PE ratio for equity markets around the world. You can see here in red, that's the United States leading the world in forward price to earning ratio. Something's going to give. Something's going to snap back. Here's a look at the VIX spread pretty far away here. Look at this. Every other time we've seen such a disparity, we've seen the jaws shut. Will that happen this time? Are we looking actually here for some lower lows right now on the S&P? By the way, facts are facts. 2020 year-to-date performance summary. S&P is up 1%. The NASDAQ is up 2%. The NASDAQ Tech is up 2% this year, 220. Gold is up 11%, rightfully so. And Bitcoin is up 35%. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset during the recent crisis. It did exactly what it is supposed to do. Get ready as it's about to enter its bull market phase. As soon as it breaks 10,400, it's going to be off to the bull market. But we are going to see something like this ratio. We might see the S&P up. Might see the S&P up another 3, 4, 5% by the end of the year. It's possible. Do I think it's likely? I don't think it's likely. Is it possible? Of course. Same thing with the NASDAQ, right? Gold should be up well, at the end of the year. And I hope it is bid by then. But Bitcoin is going to be, and that's a look around at the markets. Here's a look at a channel that a trader pointed out that he and others are watching. And you could see this lower end channel support rising all the way up above 3,000. And then here you had what is providing the resistance, the upper channel resistance, going back to these touches over in April and in May. And then now we're getting close. We're getting close to the top of this trend line resistance. Coming into horizontal resistance, is this a possible place up here where the markets could be topping out for the time being? But the question on my mind right now is, when would I start selling the S&P 500? We're going to take a look at that and some important technical levels after we play the intro. All right, so we're looking here at the S&P 500. Tomorrow is a very big day in the markets. Tomorrow, the FOMC is meeting. 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time is their rate statement, and then followed by 2:30 the press conference. Now, a lot of traders are wondering, isn't the Fed, the FOMC, just going to be another opportunity to give this market another push forward? Is there anything that the Fed can do that could possibly come on in and put an end to this party? Would the Fed want to put an end to these type of valuations in the stock markets now, or before, or later when they get out of hand? Those are the questions we're asking ourselves. We're going to be taking a look at those. We're going to be taking a look at what's going on here technically and plan what's ahead for tomorrow's FOMC. Now, what I'm looking at over here, right, we've seen this relentless risk on move over here that's went on for almost all week, all of last week. This was why the U.S. was completely rioting across the nation. Those riots, I think, have toned down into more peaceful protests right now, but there are still protests and division going on, and you see the market just really, really rallied up until today. Now, there are different thoughts of why we might have saw this little push on to risk off, but really all is that it was a little bit of profit taking up here at these high levels before the FOMC meets tomorrow. We're watching over here on the trend CCI. This is the upper level over here. Price continues to be maintaining some really high overbought readings. Now, overbought could remain so, and this trend looks like it could be still going on for quite some time. right now as you're seeing a pullback on the entry CCI, the first little pullback we've had here. Look, the last time we had a two bar pullback was, a week ago, and then you have to go back a little more than a couple of weeks to have a 3-bar pullback. But notice how shallow that pullback was over here. We're then going back again even more. It's been just a relentless uptrend, strong move over here, and you have to be questioning right now as the FOMC meets tomorrow, what's going on? Are we going to see a continued upside, right? Is this the chance to get long now? Was this 2-bar pullback the opportunity to get long this market? For me, it wasn't. I can't do that ahead of the FOMC tomorrow. And why I do expect they're going to try to keep the status quo going. You never know how the market's going to interpret any type of signals they give. One of those could be, when they plan on drawing down the amount of QE that's being, help liquidate the markets every day. They could start talking about reducing the amount of buying they're doing. They could talk about things like possibly raising rates. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they'll talk about that. But what if they did? Well, how would the market then price that in really quickly? Right now, though, what the market is looking and seems to be pricing in is that the Fed is getting ready to cap yields. If they do that, that basically puts Europe and Japan almost at equal footing in some respects as the United States, and that might see some further dollar weakness if that were to occur. It looks like they're just talking about it right now. It looks like in tomorrow's meeting, what they're more or less going to come to is the fact that that's not something that they're interested in doing right now, but perhaps remains a tool available to them in the future. Maybe we'll see something like that. But how does the market react to that? That's what we need to watch tomorrow. What the news is exactly, what's presented, and then we need to see how the market reacts to that. It's going to be a big clue. It looks like we could either see, depending on what happens tomorrow, a strong continuation of this move, perhaps even sending us to test, 3,300 on the S&P. It's entirely possible, right? Or this could be over here where this cools off for a little while. This could actually be, we're going to look for signs of this current impulse upwards, which has yet to take out the all-time high. We're going to see if that rolls over. If that does, that's when we'll get aggressive on the downside. Right now, the best position, the price action tomorrow afternoon is going to be very revealing at possible looking at some big moves. I don't think that we consolidate from here. I think that either from here, we're going to continue to either roll over or we're going to push up. And I don't think this is an area for consolidation. Coming off of with the FOMC meeting tomorrow, Kyle Bass is putting his money where his mouth is. This is an excellent example of what it's like for a predator to be waiting and stalking its prey. Kyle Bass is going 200 times levered bet against the Hong Kong dollar. He's been for actually years been talking about this peg break-in. He's taken trades on this position, and now he's been actually right now, as we're seeing signs of the pressure on the Hong Kong dollar, he's going in for the kill, starting a new fund. He talked about the possibility if the Hong Kong dollar depreciates 40% off the US dollar of making 64x on this trade. That's what Kyle Bass of Hammond Capital is talking about right here. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this trade winds up working out. Again, people have been trying to bet against this peg for 30 years, but you got to admire Kyle for really stalking this trade out and him really believing this is the time to go ahead and really go in for the kill. That's the analogy that we like to use all the time when it comes to our trading. We are the cat. We are the lion. We are the predator. We are the predator on the savannah. We are stalking our prey. We are waiting for the right time to attack. We are watching and observing where is the weakest part to attack. When we go in hard and fast, but most of our time is spent setting up the trade, doing our analysis. Speaking of which, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for our live stream where we take a look at the markets together and plan our trades for the session ahead. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. Looking forward to seeing you all in the morning. We'll continue to go ahead and take a look at those charts, keeping our pulse on the market, figuring out this puzzle and what offers the best opportunity so that we can focus our resources there. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you tomorrow.